The time has come, and the Rams are getting ready for their preseason matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs in about an hour. Hopefully, I get this video out to you guys beforehand. We're going to talk a little bit about what I'm looking forward to, some preseason previews, expectations, predictions, all that and more, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Josh Rahidon, and before we get too far into today's video, I want to ask you guys a favor. If you guys are not currently subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and consider pressing that subscribe button. Right now, about 60% of you guys are coming back for more. Keep watching the videos, but you're not currently subscribed to the channel. All I'm saying is, if you're enjoying the content, you like what you see, you keep coming back for more, why not press that subscribe button so you support what we're doing here with the channel. We're trying to continue to grow the channel every single day, be a part of a growing Rams community. Let us please do us a favor and consider pressing that subscribe button before you head out for today. So I know we're getting pretty close here to the game time. As I'm recording this video, it's about to be noon on Saturday the 15th. So we're coming up close on the game, and I just wanted to get some pre-game preview here for the Rams preseason matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Ultimately, when it's all said and done, the Rams, we know, are going to kind of go a little more vanilla scheme in this game. We're going to see a lot of backups in this game. We're not going to see a bunch of important information for the long term, I should say. And my goodness, my computer, I tried to delete everything, and I'm still sitting here lagging. We're going to full screen it here. But since it's the preseason, the final score isn't really what we're worried about, right? Both teams are resting major starters. Mahomes isn't going to play. Stafford isn't going to play. So we know that that's going to happen, right? The real story is really going to be the backups, the young players who are going to try to make the roster, trying to obviously fight for playing time when it comes down to the regular season. And obviously we have a lot of key pieces to look at and look forward to if you're a Rams fan. And one of those players in particular, I don't know how many people are super excited to see Stetson Bennett, but I am a little bit, I don't want to say excited, I'm more anxious. And it's not necessarily that I'm worried or anything like that, but I'm anxious to see, has Stetson Bennett shown improvement over his early development in his NFL career thus far? Has he continued to grow as a young quarterback in the NFL? Is he ready to be a backup to Matthew Stafford? Because at the end of the day, maybe he might not be the heir apparent. He might not be the next starter in the future, because Ty Simpson is kind of the goal to be that. But can Stetson Bennett step in and play if Stafford retires next year, right? Is he ready to play? Is he ready to play in case Stafford gets hurt this year while you're trying to fight for a Super Bowl run? That is the concern there for Stetson Bennett. So I'm excited to see Stetson Bennett. I'm expecting and predicting he's going to look pretty good. He's going to look like your backup quarterback. He's going to look like a solid piece behind Matthew Stafford. I don't think the Rams would have not gone out and got a backup quarterback at this point if they weren't pretty confident in what Stetson Bennett can bring to the table. I'm going full screen again just because my video is lagging. But yeah, I think the Rams would have addressed the quarterback sooner if they were concerned at all about what Stetson Bennett is bringing to the table. I think he's shown improvement to them. I think he's shown improvement to the coaching staff enough in practice and whatnot to make them confident in keeping him as the quarterback for now, right? For the backup quarterback position. They didn't go out and bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo was looking for a quote-unquote right situation for himself, and that wasn't with the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm eager to see Stetson Bennett just come out and show that, hey, this was the right choice. Be confident in me being a backup. That is my prediction as well. I'm not saying he's going to ball out and just absolutely dominate. I think he's going to have some nice plays, nice passes, look composed back there, and just kind of look in command of the offense. And I think the Rams will be impressed by that, and I think he will show us, I hope he will show us that he's ready to be the backup quarterback to Matthew Stafford. And then we're obviously going to see a little bit of Ty Simpson, I should say, in this game once Stetson Bennett proves to us, okay, he's stable, he's good, he's confident, he looks in command of the offense. I think Ty Simpson will step in and say, this is why it was not a mistake to take me number 1 overall with a 13th pick in the draft. And by the way, I talked about this before. I'm going to keep an eye on like Mekhi Lemon for the Philadelphia Eagles because that's who I wanted the Rams to draft out of USC. But ultimately, right now, what we're hearing out of Philadelphia is that he's not really on the field. He's not really participating that much. He's dealing with injuries. He's dealing with maybe not even participating at all. So that's what I've heard last. I checked up on Mekhi Lemon. That could have changed over the last couple weeks. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he's continuing to struggle. So obviously, not to compare or anything. It doesn't matter at this point, but I'm just curious to kind of keep an eye on that for sure. But Ty Simpson, I mean, he has to prove to us why he was the number 1 pick for the Rams this draft, or for their number 1 draft selection with the 13th pick in the draft this year. Obviously, if I had to predict what's going to happen with Ty Simpson, I think he's going to go out there. He's going to have a couple of nice plays, a couple of nice passes, a couple of ugly ones. I think he's not going to necessarily play particularly super well. I'm going to go full screen here on Ty Simpson while I talk about him. I don't think he's going to play perfect football, obviously. I don't think anyone can expect that from him, by the way. I don't think he's going to look amazing, but I think he's going to look good enough to say, okay, I see what the Rams saw in him. I think he still has a lot of room to grow. I think he's going to have some ugly plays, but ultimately I think Ty Simpson will come out, show a couple of nice passes to say, okay, you know what? This looks like a guy who I can understand what the Rams see in him. We'll hope that he can develop over the next couple of seasons and see if he can become the next starter for you in the future. But I'm not anticipating him to blow anybody out the water with his performance today versus the Chiefs. That is my prediction for Ty Simpson. That is my expectation. I'm excited to see Ty Simpson back out on the field. Let me know your thoughts, by the way. How excited are you guys to see Ty Simpson finally take the field in a Rams uniform? Are you excited, nervous? Do you want him to succeed? Do you want him to fail? Some people might. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section about Ty Simpson. And then moving on, another piece that I think the Rams are going to want to see play well today, it's going to be Sean Dolak. A lot of Rams fans are fans of him. I just talked to Joshua Feinherz yesterday about Sean Dolak and how I kind of mentioned him in a previous video of mine that it could be a roster bubble for Sean Dolak because the Rams have added some linebacker pieces. And to add to that, I talked about Grant Stewart, a guy the Rams signed back in March, by the way, special teamer from the Lions. He's actually resting already game one of the preseason so far for the Rams. So Grant Stewart, again, kind of more solidified in his career, solidified in his role with the Rams. He's going to be that special teams ace for the Rams at linebacker. So that's where Sean Dolak really has to fight and compete for a spot. You know, you saw the Rams sign Monty Rice, a former third-round pick from Tennessee out of University of Georgia. We know that's on the roster as well, but I think the competition is really going to be Grant Stewart. And for Sean Dolak, if he comes out, has a good preseason game, I think that'll definitely help his case in terms of solidifying his spot on the roster. I think he stays on the roster. I think he's good enough to stay on the roster. I'm excited to kind of keep an eye on him and look at him make some plays for the Rams in this football game. And then we're going to move on towards another piece here. We talked about this, another roster bubble piece. I think, Joshua Feinherz talked about a player to watch in his video yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But basically, he talked about C.J. Daniels, right? The rookie out of the University of Miami. I think a lot of people are excited about him. 50-50 ball type of quarterback. Receiver, I'm sorry. But that is my concern because, speaking of quarterback, that is not the quarterback those are not the quarterbacks the Rams have. The Rams don't currently have Matthew Stafford at the helm. So they're not going to see a lot of 50-50 balls up in the air. Go get it. C.J. Daniels type of plays. He might go out and make a flashy play once or twice, and that'd be awesome for him, of course. I don't think the Rams quarterbacks, unfortunately, and the Rams play calling is going to make them put him in that positive scenario where he gets a chance to show how good he really is. That is my concern for CJ Daniels. So expecting him to still try to play well and obviously make the roster and make some flashy plays, but I am anticipating more small ball kind of like short passes kind of type of offense for the Rams. Let me try to see if I can refresh this because my goodness, I am lagging so bad. But I am anticipating to see the Rams kind of go a little more slow, kind of just quick passes type of offense. That's where I think Xavier Smith will excel for the Rams in this game. I think Xavier Smith will show, hey, look, man, I know I made a mistake. Come on, man, my career can't be over because of that one mistake I made. It was a really big mistake that could have cost the Rams a Super Bowl. Sure, it's really, really, really bad. I think Xavier Smith hopefully will come out and say, hey, trust me, I'm good. Don't worry about it. It was one mistake. I'll move on. I want this opportunity here. And I think he'll take advantage and make some flashy plays over the middle of the field as like a slot type of receiver for the Rams in this preseason game. Another guy I'm expecting to have a good game, Jarquez Hunter. I think he's going to have a couple flashy plays. Again, we're preseason, okay? I'm not expecting a 45-point performance from the Rams. I'm not expecting 150-yard games from Jarquez Hunter and Xavier Smith. But what I am expecting is a couple of 10-yard, 15-yard runs from Jarquez Hunter. I think he's a guy who knows he's on the roster bubble, right? You know Kyren Williams is solidified. You know Blake Corum is solidified. Jarquez Hunter, if he wants to make a name for himself and wants to make this roster, needs to have decent flashes at points to make it enough flashes to where other teams are going to raise their eyebrow and say, who is this guy? Can we snipe him from the Rams? And if he makes enough noise to say this guy is really good, could be a future starter in this league, other teams are going to be interested, therefore forcing the Rams' hand into keeping him on the roster. I don't think the Rams mind having 3 running backs on the roster. I think Jarquez Hunter should be that third running back on the roster. He has to go out and prove it. I think a couple of here 8-yard runs, 10-yard runs, maybe even a 15, 20-yard pop. That'd be amazing for him, of course. That's what I'm anticipating from Jarquez Hunter. An 8-yard flash here or there, and I think he's going to go ahead and solidify himself as the third running back option for the Los Angeles Rams on this roster for the 2026-2027 season. Another guy I'm looking out for here, we're talking a lot of offense and not much defense. Shout out to Sean Dolak for the defensive highlight there, but I do think the Rams are pretty solidified on defense. Their depth as well, even like Josiah Stewart will be like a depth piece for you guys for the Rams on defense. But overall, defensively, I'm not too concerned about what's on the field. A lot of your starters are already set, so you kind of know that. The depth pieces are just battling it out now. That's why I'm focusing on offense, and Max Clare is a player who has a golden opportunity. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Kobe Parkinson was dealing with, sorry, not Kobe Parkinson. Davis Allen, I was blanking on his name for a second. Davis Allen was a tight end that was having some issues with an injury, and that was keeping him out of practice, keeping him out of being able to participate in this preseason matchup. So that's where I think Max Clare is going to come out as a rookie, drafted pretty highly, by the way. We got to remember that. He was drafted in the second round for the Los Angeles Rams. So I think in that situation, you're looking for Max Clare to go out, show some flashes, and show, hey, look, I'm going to beat Davis Allen out for this next kind of opportunity to be the fourth best tight end on this roster. Can the Rams keep 5 tight ends on the roster? I think that's highly unlikely. Sad for sure to see someone have to be out, the odd man out in this situation. But you got Tyler Higbee, who's a Rams legend. You have Kobe Parkinson, who is a quarterback favorite or tight end favorite pass option for Matthew Stafford, your MVP. And so therefore, I think those two guys are pretty safe. Obviously, Terrence Ferguson, we know he's pretty safe as well. And Max Clare, because of the investment of the draft capital, I think he's like pretty safe. Unless he goes out and just drops passes and just can't block to save his life, I think he has a good chance to go out there and show that he's the next best tight end on this roster, the fourth best option. So Max Clare, a couple catches over the middle of the field, will show the ability to potentially be some type of safety blanket, block in the passing game a decent amount. That's what his goal is in this matchup. If he does that, I think he'll obviously be on this roster for the 2026-2027 season for the Rams. Keeping my eye on Max Clare out there for the Rams. And then for the Chiefs side of things, I talked about this the other day. We're not going to see Mahomes out there as he's recovering from an ACL injury, but also he's just Patrick Mahomes. He's obviously does not need the work right now for preseason work, at least just yet. But I'm interested in the other two quarterbacks that the Kansas City Chiefs have. We're going to see Justin Fields a little bit, and I think we're going to see a lot of Garrett Nussmeier, a guy that I, by the way, thought the Rams might be in on for the draft this year before they drafted Ty Simpson. I thought he could be a later round pick for the Rams to go out and get. They don't get him. They don't get Garrett Nussmeier. So I'm going to go ahead and say Nussmeier. So I'm going to go out and say Justin Fields. My prediction is, again, I talked about this the other day. I don't want to act like I'm a Justin Fields fan or a Kansas City fan or I'm rooting for this to happen. I think Justin Fields not going to slice and dice this defense completely. I did say it the other day, and I apologize for that. What I meant to say was I think Justin Fields is going to have a couple of big flashes, whether that's a big one big play in the passing game, a couple big plays in the run game. I think Justin Fields is going to look comfortable, look confident with the Kansas City Chiefs because he's a backup quarterback to Mahomes. He's learning from one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think Justin Fields is like a Daniel Jones, esque type of quarterback where I think he's like a starter in this league, a low-end starter, but I think he's a starter in this league. He just has to figure it out and put it all together. That's where I think Justin Fields is going to go out and have a good game, have some good flashes for the Chiefs. Not going to ball out and dominate this offense. He's going to have struggles as well, but I think he's going to play better than you expect from a backup quarterback, and that's where I think after a couple nice flashes, maybe a touchdown from Fields, especially a rushing touchdown from him, then he'll take him out. We'll see Garrett Nussmeier, and I'm excited to see what he has to do because not that I'm rooting for the Chiefs again, but I just want to see, could the Rams have taken him instead of a Ty Simpson? That's going to be a very interesting conversation that we may have next week after this game is all said and done. So those are my thoughts right now on this football game. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you guys excited for in this matchup? You guys are probably watching the game already. What are you guys seeing out of the game? What are you worried about? What have you been concerned about? Even if you finish watching the game and you watch this video after, what are your thoughts down below? Let me know your thoughts on the preseason game for the Rams and Chiefs down below in the comment section. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode. By the way, my prediction is the Rams will lose this game. I think it's going to be like a 17-10 game. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen. I think it's going to be just the Chiefs are home. They're a little more comfortable there. The Rams are playing a lot of really, really depth pieces rather than any starters at all. And so therefore, I think the Chiefs might sneak a win on this one. Maybe let's call it 17-14. The Rams score a couple touchdowns, but we'll say 17-14. The Chiefs win this matchup. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Sorry, no, hey, it's a preseason game. It doesn't really matter who wins or loses. That's my prediction for the Rams game. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Josh Rohito, and I'm out.